And one final note on in this volume. After d4, knight f6, you may also start by playing bishop f4 instead of knight f3. Maybe if you play the same opponent over and over, so they can be more surprised or less prepared of what you're doing. So now this has a little bit of individual importance if black would play c5. Otherwise, if e6, of course, things just transpose directly, or after d5, the same way, knight f3. But here, black would try to play c5, and then you would play e3, and immediately queen b6. This is a real interesting move order. And similarly to what we learned earlier, in a similar position after the knight f3 and e6 moves included, also here white would play knight c3 and sacrifice the pawn on b2, which we already learned. The pattern is the same, knight b5 threatening to fork right here on c7, black prevents it, and then remember the key move, just like with the knight f3 and e6 moves included, a3 is the key move, not letting the queen back out on b4. And for example, if d5, we would play rook b1, queen a2, and queen c1, followed by trapping the queen with rook a1. Alternatively, if in this position, remember the plan is bishop c4 and rook a2, trapping the queen. If knight d5, with the idea of knight c3 and rescuing the queen, then again, similarly, just like with the knight f3 and e6 moves included, rook b1, queen a2, and rook b3, renewing that threat of bishop c4, and of course we already prevented any kind of knight c3 exchange, which the knight d5 here threatened. Okay, so let's go back to this position where queen b2 is not a great idea. It's better for black to take on d4, and here again queen b2 is not great because of knight b5, but play knight c6, attacking the pawn on d4, knight f3. Still, taking is too dangerous for black because of knight b5, and if knight d5, rook b1, and of course we need to save our bishop. And for example, if a6, rook a1, and bishop c4, followed by rook a2, and the black queen again would be in trouble. Therefore, it's still not good for black to take. e6 rather. Very similar, actually, we pretty much transposed to what we already looked at earlier, I think, with a3. Here a6 to prevent knight b5, bishop e2. Now, of course, queen b2 loses right away after the queen being trapped. And after d5, castle, white has a pleasant position. Of course, fight is still all ahead. So basically, it's just an option. You may play second move here, bishop f4, or you can play knight f3 first. Up to you. Well, that's about it for all the variations in this volume.
Well, I hope you learned a lot on how to play the London system, especially if black plays with e6 or d5 setups, and you'll be ready to test it out in your own games. And next, I assume you'll be eager to learn what's in volume 2, what to do if black rather fianchettos the bishop with g6. So get ready for that volume. Thank you for listening.